In 2004, the NBC channel in the United States aired a program called Who's the Successor? In this program, former U.S. President Donald Trump served as the host and Trump's eldest daughter Ivanka was one of the main contestants. In this program, Ivanka excelled with her innate strengths and her parent-child relationship with Trump, turning this program, which emphasized fair and impartial selection, into a solo show for Ivanka. After many years, when Ivanka appeared in front of the world again as the first daughter of the United States, many American people seemed to go back to the 2004 that was completely occupied by Ivanka's camera. During the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States, Ivanka made frequent appearances both in politics and business. However, Ivanka's position as the first daughter soon faltered as Trump's current wife, Melania, began to shift from her previous low-profile status to actively vying for First Lady status. Some U.S. media outlets have described this as a real-life version of a stepmother's revenge. So what exactly did Ivanka do to make the public turn on her, and how did Melania hit rock bottom and then try to salvage the situation? When it comes to Trump, I'm sure we can all more or less say a few labels such as rich man playing politics, truthers and so on. If you look at Trump without tinted glasses, then the word legend is definitely not an overstatement to describe his life. He was a business tycoon who started with nothing, but also branched out into movies and books, and had a huge impact on Wall Street. Even in his later years, he became the President of the United States. Trump's life story is truly remarkable, but even more remarkable are his relationships. Trump went through 3 marriages in his life, and each spouse was a dazzling woman in society, including supermodels, millennials, and even the daughters of politicians. But the most special of them all was the third and current wife, Melania. Melania came from an ordinary, one might even say poor, background. She grew up in a little-known town. Her parents didn't expect much from her, and her plan was to go to school, work, and then find a husband in town and live a normal life. However, Melania was no ordinary person. From a young age, she had strong ambitions and very clear goals for the future. At the age of 6, she had already stepped onto the runway. At the age of 16, she succeeded in becoming a commercial model, and at the age of 22, she was the runner-up in the world's biggest modeling competition. The American internet has commented that the first half of Melania's life was like another version of Trump's, as she climbed smoothly to the top of the industry. While this statement is a bit of an exaggeration, Melania's accomplishments as a young woman are truly impressive. When she arrived in New York, not only did she shoot covers for some of the biggest magazines in the country, but she also began to dabble in the movie and television industry, becoming a highly regarded rising star at the time. Her fame grew and she attracted more attention. As a result, in 1998, the young and beautiful Melania met the 58-year-old Trump. At the time, not only did outsiders think the couple's love was just a money deal, but even Trump and Melania themselves had the same opinion. However, Melania, unlike others, valued stability more than just money. Therefore, once the relationship was established, Melania kept proposing marriage to Trump, even signaling in public several times that the two were about to enter the marriage hall. After a 7-year relationship, Trump and Melania were married in 2005. However, the smart Melania didn't stop there. She understood that the next step after marriage was to cement the relationship. Therefore, she asked Trump to have children. For Trump, who already had 4 children, becoming a father was no longer an honor and even a bit of a burden. But Melania persisted, knowing that children are the most weighty bargaining chip in the hoi polloi. Thus, in 2006, Trump and Melania's son Barron was born. Since then, the battle between Ivanka and Melania has only just begun. In fact, this mother-daughter rivalry began as early as Melania's marriage to Trump. At Melania's wedding to Trump in 2006, Ivanka was the center of attention throughout the venue, dressed in a white dress. Trump's kiss on Ivanka also overshadowed Melania. It wasn't Melania's dress or beauty that was in the news that day, but rather Ivanka's teenage girl-in-charge charm and Trump's fatherly love. Considering that she was upstaged by her stepdaughter on her wedding day, whose heart would have felt good, Melania and Ivanka's life afterward was filled with all sorts of friction, with the two often pointing fingers at each other in the media. At one point, a media outlet even captured a photo of Melania running away from home with her children. During this time, Ivanka became a favorite. After all, the image of the vicious stepmother appeared too much in the drama, and Melania, with her background as a racy model, fits the stereotypes of American netizens as harsh, rude, greedy, and vicious. And while the young, beautiful Ivanka happens to be the real-life version of Snow White, the stepmother fiasco has continued, even becoming one of the hottest events in the US in 2017. On the largest media sites in the United States, whenever an author posted content about Ivanka and Melania, there were comments from netizens that the beautiful daughter outsmarted her devilish stepmother. After Trump took office in January 2017, he immediately appointed his eldest daughter Ivanka as a senior advisor to the president, a position that is not trivial, not a titular idle position, but a key person who handles all the affairs around the president, speaks for the president, gives the president a report on the work, and needs a strong psychological quality and professional competence, and Ivanka has shown a lot of diligence, and immediately moved with her own husband to Washington, D.C. The next day, began to work, and she said she would not charge the White House to give a penny compensation, but unconditional service to the people. Ivanka did do what she said. After becoming a consultant, she will sell their own commercial brands, full dedication to the work of the White House. On the contrary, Melania Barr, as the First Lady, not only did not accompany Trump to report together, but also did not move into the White House with the Trump family, so the comparison naturally has a small gap. Melania's irrationality and obstinacy let her get a blanket scolding, while Ivanka's hard work and sincerity has reaped praise and trust. Trump also spoke publicly that Melania was just a pretty vase, and since then, Ivanka has attended many important meetings and events. In 2019, even followed Trump to the G20 summit, with former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in the same seat. Can be said to be out of the limelight. He spoke in Japan, participated in South Korea, in the United Kingdom to attend the highest specification of the Natural Environmental Protection Summit, to appear in the global public's field of vision as a beautiful and capable strong woman. But as the saying goes, when people get carried away, it's easy for the horse to lose its hooves, and as expected, it didn't take long for Ivanka to suffer a crisis, and it was a success or a failure, a crisis that was actually led by Melania. As we mentioned earlier, the biggest reason for Melania's verbal abuse was because of her capriciousness and stubbornness, and the reason for her rise to fame was because of the same. In the case of the Muslim country's travel ban, because too many stowaways were entering the United States through the border, the USCIS, when seizing and repatriating adults, defined the children the adults were carrying as unaccompanied minors, and forcibly turned them over for federal disposal. In simple terms, this policy means deporting adults and leaving minors behind, which is morally and conceptually incompatible with the American context. Authoritative American media outlets have spoken out against Trump and have spoken out that this is one of the most deplorable policies of the new century. Unlike the historical White House meetings where the First Lady has always thrown her hands up in support of whatever the president has done, Melania has spoken out against this Trump policy and has put aside her role as First Lady to publicly confront her husband, Trump, as the mother of a 10-year-old boy. In announcing the policy, Melania took to social media platforms to draw a line in the sand with the White House, stating, "I don't support this decision because I am the mother of a child." Melania has publicly sung the opposite of Trump on more than one occasion. At a conference to address the new coronary pneumonia outbreak, Trump reassured the American public that they didn't have to wear masks and blurted out that, "I can't imagine wearing this on my face." And the day after the meeting, Melania took to social media platforms to urge people to wear masks, and also wrote in detail about how to wear masks and details, which was such a hard slap that Trump's team had to speak out and clarify that the First Lady was not in tune with the president's ideas, and that it was a sign of love for the people. And Trump's eldest daughter, Ivanka, is living up to the saying that the higher you fly, the harder you fall. After Melania's windfall turned dangerously good, the public's skepticism turned to her again, and a media investigation found that at Trump's inauguration ceremony, the C-seat should have been the First Lady Melania's, but it was secretly replaced by Ivanka, who moved it to an out-of-the-way position, while Ivanka had the C-seat all to herself. At the same time, Ivanka's best friend broke the news that once she recommended a book to Ivanka that was written about the common class of people, but Ivanka rejected it outright and questioned why I would want to read a book about a poor person. On the surface Ivanka says she serves the people and does not accept wages for white labor, but Ivanka looks down on the poor, even her own personal bodyguards, of whom she employs 10, but like the ancient plantations in the United States, forbids them to go to the bathroom in their villas, and they must walk 1.5 kilometers to a public place. Secondly, during the epidemic, Ivanka also insisted on stealing from herself and making a fortune from the national tragedy. According to the US media, when the US purchased medical supplies from abroad, the budget was embezzled by Ivanka by nearly 40%, so that Ivanka didn't think that the reality is not the program, even if her father how to collect the eyes of the world, but also can't interfere with the people's mind. In a short period of time, because of the wrong behavior and outrageous statements, the public questioned Ivanka more and more, and then a series of decisions, but also made her lose a large number of supporters. Now, although Trump has stepped down as President of the United States, the battle between his wife, Melania, and his eldest daughter, Ivanka, has not stopped. At present, from the US public opinion, Melania's support rate has far exceeded Ivanka. If Ivanka wants to be like South Korea's Park Geun-hye, choose to run for president in the future, the difficulty is not general. In fact, we rationally look at Melania and Ivanka. These two women's choices and behavior are with a purpose, there is no black and white in them. Melania wants to strengthen the consolidation of their own position, and Ivanka wants to use her father's ability to take steps towards the political world. Maybe like the US netizens said, for Melania she does not want to become the first lady, only want to do a good job as a wife and mother, and Ivanka, she has a better than South Korea's Park Geun-hye. Like the choice of future presidential campaign is not generally difficult. Ivanka, on the other hand, has greater ambitions than her father. She wants to master everything, and in Trump's outgoing speech, we can visualize this scene. Ivanka is so sad that she can hardly hold herself and is eager to shed tears during her father's speech, while Melania, uncharacteristically, does not have a poker face, but removes her glasses and smiles extraordinarily. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share. If you want more